You know, there are these tiny, invisible dramas happening all around us every single second. For instance,
Okay, picture this. You walk into a movie theater and bam, that amazing buttery popcorn smell just hits you, right? But the machine is way over in the corner. So, how does that smell get to you so fast?
Or hey, what about this one? You get a cool helium balloon at a party, and the very next morning, it's already sinking. But a regular balloon, one you just blew up yourself, that thing stays full for days. I mean, they're both balloons, right? So what's the deal?
Well, it turns out the answer to both of those little mysteries comes down to one single, kind of beautiful idea. And it's that the world, on a microscopic level, is in this constant, chaotic dance.
This whole idea is called the kinetic theory of gases, and it's actually pretty simple, but it's super powerful. It just says that everything we can't see, like the air, that popcorn smell, the helium inside a balloon, all of it is made of trillions and trillions of tiny particles. And these particles are in constant random motion. Think of it like a giant, endless game of microscopic pool.
Okay, so there are some rules to this microscopic game. The particles are always moving, they're bumping into each other, changing direction. But here's the absolute most important rule for figuring out our mysteries. At the same temperature, lighter particles move way faster than heavier ones. You got to remember that. Lighter means faster.
All right, so now that we've got that key rule down, lighter is faster. Let's circle back and crack our first case, the mystery of the traveling popcorn. What's happening here is a process called diffusion, and really that's just a sciencey way of saying that things, well, they like to spread out. Particles will naturally move from a really crowded space to a less crowded one, and there's no force pushing them, you know? It's just the natural outcome of all that random movement. So here's how it plays out. Right by the popcorn machine, you've got this super concentrated cloud of scent molecules. They're all zipping around, crashing into each other, bumping into air molecules, and all that chaos just naturally pushes them outwards, away from the crowd. They just keep spreading and spreading until they're pretty much evenly mixed throughout the room, and that's the moment that delicious smell finally hits your nose. Mystery solved. Okay, on to our second case, the sad deflating balloon. Now this one's a little different. It's not about particles mixing together out in the open. Nope. This one is all about particles trying to escape. This process has a different name. It's called effusion. So what's the key difference here? Well, diffusion is about mixing. Effusion is about escaping. And for effusion to happen, you absolutely need two things, a container and a tiny, tiny opening for the gas to get out. So try to picture what's going on inside that helium balloon. It is not calm in there. It's a complete storm of helium atoms, and each one is zipping around faster than a fighter jet, just constantly slamming into the inside walls of the balloon.
You see, the skin of a balloon is not actually a perfect solid wall. It's full of these microscopic holes, these pores that basically act like tiny little escape hatches. So as all those super fast atoms are bouncing around like crazy, it's really just a matter of time before one of them, totally by chance, finds one of those pores and poof, it's out. That, right there, is effusion.
So that brings us to the big question. Why does the helium escape so much faster than regular air? Well, remember our golden rule? Lighter is faster. And you can see it right here on this chart. The average speed for helium is just off the charts compared to air. Helium atoms are incredibly lightweight. The nitrogen and oxygen that make up most of the air, way, way heavier. So those zippy little helium atoms are hitting the balloon's walls much more often, which just gives them more chances to find an escape route. It's really just a simple numbers game.
All right, so we've met our two main players here, diffusion and effusion. Let's do a little showdown, put them side by side, just to make sure the difference is totally crystal clear.
So on one hand, you've got diffusion. That's all about the gradual mixing of gases, right? Think perfume spreading across a room. You don't need any barrier for that. But then you have effusion. That's about one gas escaping from its container through a little pinhole, like air slowly leaking out of a tire. So really, it boils down to this. One is mixing, and the other is escaping.
Now, I know we've been talking a lot about popcorn and balloons, and that might seem kind of simple, but these two processes are absolutely fundamental to, well, to how our entire world works. We're talking everything from our own bodies to our most advanced technology. Think about this. Every single breath you take, that's diffusion. Oxygen is moving from where there's a lot of it, in your lungs, to where there's less of it, in your blood, feeding all your cells. It's also how plants pull nutrients up from the soil. Honestly, without diffusion, life as we know it just couldn't exist.
And effusion? Oh, it's way more than just leaky balloons. That core principle, that lighter particles escape faster, it's so precise that it's actually used in really high-stake stuff, like making nuclear fuel. You see, to get the right kind of uranium for a power plant, scientists have to separate two different types that have this teeny-tiny little difference in weight. So what do? They turn it into a gas and let it effuse through thousands of barriers. The lighter, more useful type escapes just a little bit faster each time, and by doing that over and over again, they can actually separate them. Pretty wild, right?
So, you see, it's all connected. The exact same simple rules that explain why you can smell cookies baking from the other room are the same rules that help us power our cities. This invisible, random dance of molecules, it's happening all around us, and even inside of us, right now, shaping pretty much everything.
And I want to leave you with one last big thought. This whole principle of diffusion, right, of things moving from being concentrated to being all spread out, well, that doesn't just apply to smells. It applies to energy, to heat, and on the biggest scale imaginable, it applies to the universe itself. So if everything is constantly spreading out, always, what does that tell us about the future of, well, everything? That's something to think about.